Growing up, I was told that which is understood don't need to be explained. But from time to time, I would have to go back to my father and ask him about stuff that made no sense to me. On this particular day, I asked him, "Dad, why is the poor man's wisdom despised and his words not heard?" He retorted, "You can be poor and intelligent and no one will listen to you, son. However, if you are rich and dumb, people will listen to you quite easily." What happens when no one cares about what you have to say? Silence. What happens when no one believes that you might have the answer for the issues and concerns of your community? Silence. What happens when the other has decided that your lack of wealth or racial identity speaks to your lack of intellect? Silence. What happens when your circumstances require you to live beneath your dignity? Silence. You see, this is how many treat the least, the lost, the left out, and the left behind, with silence. When we were told that the ice was colder and the water wetter on the other side of the tracks, we believed it and left what we knew to seek that which we had no understanding of. But as we came, they left, and they moved further and further away, knowing we could not sustain that which we sought after without their assistance. But left they still did. Then, to add insult to injury, the government came and said we need more ways to get away. When Congress approved the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956, it authorized what was then the largest public works program in the U.S. history. Its goal was to eliminate unsafe roads, inefficient routes, and traffic jams that impede fast and safe cross-country travel. Or was it? According to the estimates from the Department of Transportation, more than 500,000 households and more than 1 million people were displaced nationwide because of the federal roadway construction. Hulking highways cut through neighborhoods, darkened and disrupted the pedestrian landscape, worsened air quality, and torpedoed property values. Communities lost churches, green spaces, family, friends, loved ones, and whole swaths of homes. They also lost small businesses that provided jobs and kept money circulating locally. Crucial middle-class footholds in areas already struggling from racist zoning policy, disinvestment, and the aforementioned white flight. The areas that were devastated the most, poor and black, who were never asked, and no one listened for their cry. That was by design. You see, policymakers and planners saw highway construction as a convenient way to raise neighborhoods considered undesirable and blighted. And they deployed the massive infrastructure elements, multi-lane road beds, concrete walls, ramps, and overpasses as tools of segregation, physical buffers to isolate communities of color. Hardly a major city with a significant minority population went unscathed. Hansford Village in Brownsville in Columbus, Ohio. Black Bottom in Paradise Valley in Detroit. In Syracuse, the 15th Ward. In New Orleans, the trim, bustling black business neighborhood. Boyle Heights in LA. And the St. John's area of my beloved Flint, Michigan, to name a few. By the time the interstate highway system was completed, it had fundamentally restructured urban America. New York University law professor Deborah Archer, in her article, "White Men's Roads Through Black Men's Homes," stated, "But when those who don't feel they need to hear, they say things like this: our categorical imperative is action to clear the slums. We can't let minorities dictate that this century-old chore will be put off another generation or finally abandoned," says Robert Moses, who was the chairman of the New York City Slum Clearance Committee, and also stated that the highway construction must go right through the cities and not around them. Two of New York's main arteries were created by Mr. Moses. the Cross Bronx, and the Brooklyn Queens expressways, cutting right through the heart of the Bronx and Red Hook neighborhoods. So what do communities of distress, regress, and oppression hear when the words infrastructure, bridges, and roads come up? Nothing. They tell me that them people done made up their minds and are going to do whatever they want to do. They don't care what we think. So I ask these words. If you have come here to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together. For if this is our cause to pick up and our burden to carry, let us build this idea of well-being found in the built space together. Then let us please remember to give voice to the voiceless and audibility to the hearing impaired, or you might as well not say nothing at all, because your actions have said it all.